Right, so I just wanted to make this video about an experience that I had recently. So I went to a wellness festival. It's called Enliven Wellness Festival here in British Columbia, Canada. It's somewhere near Pemberton, put on by this group from Squamish, BC. And I go to it every year. It's the best. I've made videos about it before, not specifically, but certainly about my experience of going to this place and how it has impacted my life. Because I always go through a sort of a transformational experience. And, one time I ended up going back and I lost my job and then went traveling for a year and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty epic. So this year was no different. I mean, it was a huge thing. So basically what happened, I went and it was awesome. Very heart-opening experience. I mean, very safe environment. So people feel comfortable opening up, sharing who they are, because essentially that there's not, there's no way anybody is going to be judging you or condemning you. It's a very inclusive environment and compassionate and loving and spiritual for what it's worth, right? I mean, and there's kids there, which just makes all the difference. I mean, I don't even go to festivals anymore where that aren't kid friendly, because it just tells you something that there's going to be adults not on their best behavior, and it's like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. So I went to this thing and it was amazing. I mean, workshops, awesome. But in particular, I went and you have to choose from the workshops that are available which ones resonate with you the most. And so I went to a number of ones that were aimed at vocal freedom, vocal expression, opening up this vocal area, this throat chakra area in the body. And one time it was like a guy singing with there's one guy on a guitar, another person on the djembe, drums, and another person playing violin, and then a woman singing alongside him. So like a nice range of things anyways. And that was, I'd done this one before and it was amazing. And I saw the guy this year and I was like, man, it was so good last year. I was like, I'm really looking forward to it. I still have hesitation and fear and stuff like that to do with singing. And he's like, man, I do these workshops and so do I. I mean, it doesn't go away. You just learn to move past it and actually learn to feed off of it. You come to channel it, and then that energy, whatever it is, you can use to actually channel it into your singing and stuff like that, because it's emotion, it's feeling and stuff like that, and in the loose senses of those words. And so that one was amazing, right? But I went to this other one that was put on by this woman called Theta Phoenix, and she did a sound bath, which was absolutely epic. Where this woman, she's got her crystal bowls set up and she's got different instruments, drums and stuff like that, and using her voice and mouth to make a lot of different sounds, and speaking a light language, so like a nothing that you might recognize, like an intuitive language, call it like that, a light language. And so that was epic. And she also taught a vocal freedom class, which I attended. And, you go through this process of at first they're just like, so who's here because they're afraid to sing outside of the shower in the car? And it's like, everybody puts their hand up, and who has music in them, but has fear of something. There's something holding you back or whatever, it's challenging, and there's shyness and whatnot involved, and everybody puts their hand up, so it's like, okay, it was this environment where it's like, okay, I'm not alone, and everybody's feeling this way. And so it's nice to be amongst people who are all essentially going through the same stuff, right? I mean, because we all kind of do, right, in our own ways, but certainly those of us who are musical or musicians and are looking to really embrace that. I mean, it can be, hold on a second here. Yeah, I mean, it can be challenging, right? And so, like that. Anyways, so, and then, you just, it often starts like with signs. It's like, oh, like making sounds. This is the thing, is like to enable to, or no, in order to have a vocal freedom expression opening and whatnot, there essentially needs to be guidance. So that was there. It helps to have support, so you're around others that are going through the same thing. That's very supportive, because you don't feel so by yourself, making noises. You don't feel silly or anything, right? Because that is exactly what is going on. And it's and I'm not we're not there with like a bunch of I'm there with a bunch of people who are similar to myself, who are, for what it's worth, healers, people who have, transcended certain levels of experience and are practitioners of things. We're talking like people who are, spiritually orientated, grounded, practitioners, people who are educated but still dealing with this little issue of shyness, or whatever you want to call it. It could be anxiety, it could be fear. Anyways, and so then you start, you end up expressing through the guided, as she guides you through. It's like, okay, now we're going to do this and do that. And like, she'll say, okay, now we're working, you kind of work up the chakras and stuff like that. And then express a little bit differently for each one, because each one does have its own unique sound. You can find out, it's called like bija mantras, and also nada yoga is another thing. But anyways, you over the course of the workshop, you make the loudest, highest pitch sound that you can, as well as the lowest. And then you find that, like they say, that there's certain spots that everybody can hit, and they can kind of it shines through. They're like sweet spots. And so you open up and you find this range, and then all of a sudden you're just doing it, and then it's like, okay, and it feels really good. I cried quite a bit, because you're moving through something that's challenging anyways, and expressing yourself and hearing your own voice and being comfortable with it around others who are doing the exact same thing. So very, very nice experience. And I would just say, all I can say is that it worked, because say on the way home, I use Ableton. I have this app, Ableton Note, and I make beats on my phone sometimes just for fun. And so I listen to my own beats sometimes because I enjoy them. They're just on there. And so I put on one of my beats, and like, I swear for like 2 hours, I sang, rapped, and rhymed and talked. And it's something that I've been on the cusp of doing for a very long time, but just have had this shyness, this hesitancy, and it's been holding me back from like fully expressing myself. And it's like, even though I have this YouTube channel and I will talk for hours about complex issues, relatively complex, spiritual topics and stuff like that a lot of people wouldn't even touch, because they'd probably put their foot in their mouth, I think, because if you have negativity in you, it will shine through, right? And so anyways, like, but that doesn't, like, even though I can talk, it's not quite the same as singing. And so once I was on my way home and stuff like that, I was like, wow, this workshop, it worked. I seem to have worked through a barrier. My throat chakra is open. And so then over the course of the next couple of days, I have been, so I'm in my flow, of course, because I'm just on top of the world. I mean, it means everything to me, vocal expression, and to be able to embrace a career in music and stuff like that. But it's like, if you're afraid to get up on the mic and record yourself, and just to take the steps that you need to do in order to complete the songs that have that you've downloaded, I mean, like, that have come to you, a lot of them to come to me in dreams, and then I just don't do anything with them, because you have to take that step to hook up that audio interface and learn how to use it properly, and how to, like, gain stage your blah blah blah, your mics and all this kind of stuff. I mean, and so I got back, and it was just like a completely different person, right? Because I don't know if you know, like, how the chakra system works, but at least in my understanding, it is sequential, starting at the root, like, red, orange, yellow, green. So those lower things, there's certainly, like, the willpower, the solar plexus, you got the sexual stuff down there, you got or I don't know, I can't remember how everything that they stand for and whatnot. You got the green at the heart. And the thing is, for myself, I've dealt with these things. My heart is open, and it's very apparent to me. I have a significant amount of willpower. I'm able to do things based on sheer willpower. I can just choose to say yes or to say no, different things, right? I mean, and then that it also impacts that sexual energy. I am not a slave to impulse, to sex drive, as you might think of it, or all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I've dealt with my lower things, and then with my heart open, moving up to this spot, it's like, if you have a blockage there, you got two chakras above that, indigo and violet. So we're talking third eye, we're talking crown chakra. And even though I practice Kriya Yoga, which is not the Kriya that most people understand as cleansing techniques, it's something else. I mean, you'd have to look that up yourself. The Kriya Yoga of Paramahansa Yogananda and the Self-Realization Fellowship. And of course, Mahavatar Babaji and Lahiri Maharshi and others. I mean, he is not the only one who disseminates teachings on Kriya Yoga. But anyways, it's like having a blockage in this spot, because it's sequential, it prevents you, in a sense, from fully developing these higher energy centers. And so, but I still, my third eye is still quite active. I can tell, because of there's certain sensations, I'm able to tap into it. And, but so anyways, like, moving forward, it's like, I have had this newfound sense of just the ability to express myself in any situation, no matter what it looks like, regardless of whether it has to do with rhyming, or speaking, or singing out loud, or telling jokes. There is just this level of confidence that I have never experienced in my life before, even though I'm a wordsmith, even though I've written a lot of poetry, I've written a book, even though I talk at length on YouTube. None of that, like, this is just the icing on the cake. It is something that has awoken in me, and it's like I've dropped a ball and chain. There's something that has been weighing me down, that has been holding me back, in a sense. And and just like to say it, I don't believe even for a second that it should have or could have happened in any other way. because for myself, everything is divine, everything is sacred, everything is in perfect timing, everything is perfect, everything is synchronicity. I mean, everything is an orchestration. So there is no it's like, oh, I wish this had happened earlier. No, everything happened in the perfect timing. I am at a point in my life now where it is applicable, where it makes sense. I needed to be how I was before, just as I need to be how I am now. And so my voice is still recovering. I think it went low, like a couple octaves lower. People, when I came back, they're like, holy cow, Josh, what's up with your voice? And I was like, well, a lot of things. I think I stretched it a bit much, but whatever the case, it worked. Sometimes you got to do that. Or I don't know, I did it and it worked for me, end of story. And so as a result of this, I have just really stepped into my own power for what it's worth, like meaning my ability to communicate everything that I need to with everybody that I need to communicate with, which is huge, because there have been times in the past where I have not exactly felt the most comfortable about speaking with certain people about certain things. It's just that, like, sometimes I plan to or prepare to, but then when it comes up, I just let it go or I shy away. But now it's like I don't need to do that anymore. I am able to just actively contribute whatever it is that I have to say, and it feels really good. And even like the other day, I was working my flooring job and in a person's house, and they were, we're hanging out kind of deal, talking this and that, and I was able to like make jokes and make fun of them, in a way that most people wouldn't, because she would like point out this thing. I was like, okay, now you get out of here, you need to leave right now, right? And it's like just this ability to have so much confidence in just who I am and the way that I go about things, because I know that I'm polite, I know that I'm respectful, I know that I'm mature, I know that I am nice, kind. And so because of that, I can basically say whatever I want, because the only things I want to say are nice and friendly and happy and positive. I don't have negative things to say. And so it's just amazing. I can just run my mouth for hours, and it's like, and everybody appreciates it because I don't have anything negative to say. And just like, I think it's like a smile, how it's contagious. I mean, it's like, yeah. Anyways, so super liberating. And as a result of this, I have really kind of, keep receiving these insights and like this guidance and stuff like that, because like I said, I'm in my flow, and I feel that I am now ready to move forward on something that I have been hesitant on for a long time. I mean, I'm going to start some kind of I don't know if it's a business or a nonprofit or a church of spirituality or something, but I can recognize that I can't do everything by myself. I never could, I never can. Anything that, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Never mind to like start a movement or to take certain steps to create an institution or an environment which is very community based. And it's like, when I say religion, I don't mean anything to do with following anything other than learning how to listen to your heart and developing a relationship with your own intuition, learning how to use your mind and keep it in check, understanding who you are in relationship to absolutely everything else, including that which we often term as divine, and other realms of things, and the ego and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to start teaching at festivals because I just have that level of confidence now. I've heard the other things that people have to share. I've seen the lines that they work along, And I got that in me. I mean, and even just like with yoga teaching, you know, I attended classes. I attended this one class that it was like, I'm not going to say on camera, but, you know, and so, yeah, because I just don't want it repeated. But like, if they can do that, you know, the yoga that I'm going to be teaching is awesome. I mean, my own style as well as the Dharma yoga and stuff like that, it's all awesome. So there's just like so much potential there, and it's like, yeah, I just realized that I can't do it all by myself. I'm going to ask for help. And so if you're watching this, I mean, and if you care, you know, write me. I'm here. I'm in the very beginning stages of starting something, and I'm going to reach out to people in my neighborhood and community, but I mean, like anybody, anywhere, it takes a bit to, like, you know, get a ball rolling and to build up momentum and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, anybody who feels passionate, if you watch any of my videos and you care about this sort of message that I have, I mean, I've already written the book. So I have the Bible for the religion, for what it's worth. You know, I have that under my belt, as well as 2 books on sacred geometry that were written by my uncle that are ready to be published, but I just don't have the time. And this is the issue, is I just have so much on my plate. I'm actually thinking about getting a music producer as well, just because of the sheer volume of what I am looking to produce. It's just like I could use some help. So that was a thought as well. I mean, I already have the websites as well. I have my spirituality website, my joshsnook.com website, yeah, spirituality.com, spiritual.com. Yeah, I have like a lot of resources. I have the symbol that I've copyrighted and stuff like that, but it's just like, you know, I have all these pieces, but it's just a matter of putting them together and like, and doing something with it, you know, forming an organization, forming a structure, you know, creating something that is, you know, has a lot of integrity and that will help communities where they exist, but also, you know, would pay the employees, whoever worked, very well, you know, because people have lives, people, you know, like to purchase things, people have bills, people have things that come up. You know, it's important that in this time, you know, where we do still use cash, money, currency, credit as, you know, a form of energy exchange and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, just huge potential, but just, yeah, I mean, the point of all this is just, it just feels so amazing to have moved beyond something that has been plaguing me. I mean, in a sense, right? It's been, you know, yeah, plaguing me for a long time. And then now it's like, okay, now I'm ready to do all of these things. And to, you know, it's like this thing asking for help. You know, it's not the easiest for myself. I've received insights in the last couple of years at times where I have thought to myself, Josh, ask for help, you know, put an ad out there, you know, use whatever methods you need to, and just appeal to somebody. Only one person really needs to hear my cry. And it would be something, it was going to be like, you know, I am a spiritual person. I am doing the good work. I need some help. I can be doing more than messing around with the stuff that I'm doing. If I had some resources, you know, even just a place to live, like I live in my car. I'm not asking for money, right? I'm not asking for anything, but something, right? I mean, along some sort of lines. And, you know, because part of my spiritual awakening was when I was in Thailand and I stayed with a yogi for a period of time, a swami, and we talked about things, and he really, he told me, like, think about some of this stuff. It's, it might help you. It wasn't pushy at all, right? But, and he didn't work. I asked him, I was like, how do you live and stuff like that if you're just going around teaching about this stuff, about spirituality? He's like, well, I've met people that really appreciate the work that I'm doing, and they offered to essentially pay for all of my expenses. He's like, he doesn't live an extravagant life, he's not buying all kinds of stuff. But so, and like, for rich people who are like really rich, they got so much, some people have so much money to spend, like, 10 grand on a hotel, for a couple of nights. Sometimes they make 10 grand a year. You know what I mean? Like, because, and this is my challenge, because I walk this spiritual path. It's like I'm unable to pursue any path that is just about making money. It goes against my principles, my values, everything. I can't do it. It is just not within my capacity as a human being. I'm driven in another way, and I have to honor that, or it would just eat me alive and it would never last. So I've just never been able to pursue money. I've always had to kind of just follow my heart and stuff like that. And it's not exactly, I don't always, but anyways, yeah, I think this is the end of this video. I just want to share it while it's fresh, because it just feels so good to be in a place where I'm finally ready to put myself out there into the world in a way that is bigger than YouTube. And my book isn't quite ready, so that's not where that's at. But to start asking for help, and to reach out and create something that is grassroots, from the ground up, with that is very inclusive, that is based around this idea of community, where it would essentially give people something to, it's like you could be a part of something where you are needed, where you are valued, where you can contribute something that in any way that you like, where you can be informed about things that are going on, where you can participate, where you can and there would be a lot of programs. Of course there would be yoga, of course there would be dancing, of course there'd be a restaurant, of course all these kinds of things. So it's just like, I've been not sleeping on this stuff, but I haven't been in a place where I've been able to move forward on it. But yeah, super awesome. So that has been my experience.